Tell us how much that accomplishment means to you all these years later. It must be a very special thing.
Yes, it does, and that's why I wanted to share this, because I think it's historic and generations should be aware of it, especially under the circumstances with, during our time, we had 32 minutes to play, but like I said earlier, we only had 2 points at a time we could score. Now they have the three-point line. And even with the three-point line, a lot of high schools don't score more than 70 points a lot, where we were able to do 90 points during that 20-game period. So it's historic.
And we can't ignore the racial part of it.
Yeah.
It was part of it. Tell me about that.
Well, I would say that it's not something that we thought about consciously as we played. And when we did play teams, nothing happened on the court that was a racial tone type thing. So first it was all basketball. And the only time that we may have really thought about it was when we went to the regionals and we had to go to West Florida to play a team that was also undefeated. And the thought was, why do we have to go way over there? And that may be the reason where there may be a little race incentive that's going on, but that was it.
But you think these white kids were thinking, I don't have time to be a racist right now. I'm trying to win a basketball game.
Well, they may have thought like that because we weren't thinking race either. But when you think about the adults, then that comes into play because they would set up the agenda. They would set up the schedule.
Now, you've gone on and had a successful career, both professionally and personal life, but there's still a special place in your heart about that year.
Yep. Of course it is, because you're talking about making history, number one, but there was camaraderie there. There was no dissension. The players understood their roles and they accepted their roles. It was a true team. And an example of that is what we talked about earlier, about being double teamed for 3 quarters and still giving up the ball so we could win. And being a point guard and you're a good jump shooter, but you think about, you don't want to be what we call a gunner. That's someone who shoots all the time. But as a point guard, you're sharing the ball so everyone can contribute.